Big thanks to Diamond Select Toys for sending this one out. Check them out and where to buy this at links in the description down below. Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Kaiju, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hello there, collectors. It's Steven here. Happy Figure Friday to you. And in typical Steven fashion, I'm bringing Figure Friday to you with a review of a resin bust. Effectively, a statue. That is right. Today I'm taking a look at the Legends in 3D Gipsy Danger resin bust from Diamond Select Toys. Now, normally for my review style, I like to go ahead and put together a nice fancy schmancy intro with some action shots and whatnot, but this is literally a portion of Gipsy Danger. So we're going to go ahead and get to the review right away. So let's take a look to see whether or not Gipsy here is worth adding into your collection. First and foremost, there is an elephant in the room that we have to talk about for this bust, and that is the packaging that it comes in. Why am I talking about this? Well, because it's actually kind of important here, because a lot of folks are going to be wondering, how much does this cost to ship? Well, first and foremost, the bust has an MSRP of about $200. Mostly speaking, you're going to be able to find it for around $180. Now, on the box, it has a weight in a quite weird unit system there. Yeah. So what that basically comes out to, the 7.8 kilograms there, is 17 pounds. So this is one heavy package overall. So the way that it is packaged is after you open it up, you're going to have the certificate of authenticity, or at least the little card there, which matches the number on the bottom of the bust. Mine is number 66. Very cool. Now, when you go ahead and open it up, the Gipsy Danger bust is actually sandwiched between two pieces of styrofoam, and inside of that styrofoam, Gipsy is in a little plastic baggie. Now, I would say give yourself plenty of space to open this up, because you're going to need to cut the tape that is holding the styrofoam together, and be prepared for the styrofoam to be broken in one spot. Mine actually on the bottom, it cracked a little bit, and it was either because of this or just because of the nature of styrofoam in general. Styrofoam ended up getting everywhere, and it's still hidden in places, and yeah, I'm still getting a little bit of it from my wife. But anyway, Gipsy is packaged well. Why? Because even though it took quite a few beatings in shipping, it still came out without any breaks at all. So good on you for that one, DST. Okie dokie, now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the bust proper. And I do have to say, overall, very good. There are a couple of issues with the paint application on this one, but here's something to keep in mind. This is a $200 resin bust that weighs about 17 pounds. It's $200. It is about 14 inches tall. To be honest with you here, folks, in the resin world, that is a steal. So for them to be able to make a nice looking resin bust for $200, there are going to be a couple of drawbacks. That's how it works in resin, okay? Okay. That being said, the bust of Gipsy Danger sits on a custom-made pedestal, which shows off some Pacific Rim branding there. We have that nice Gipsy Danger logo. We have a couple of bolts here and there, some Pan-Pacific Defense Corps logos here, there, and everywhere. And overall, it just matches that sort of Shatter Dome theme, almost as if this bust is getting ready to go and attack some kaiju. Not that it's actually going to get very far, but yeah. So now that you've seen all sides of this from far away, let's go ahead and take a closer look, and we're going to go ahead and follow my usual format. First and foremost, when we take a look at the head of Gipsy, the con pod in specific, we can see that the visor does look pretty nice, and the way that they worked this in is they had the detailing of sort of the honeycomb, compound eye, digital, whatever you want to call it, effect on the base, and then they added a yellow visor over that. Unfortunately, at the bottom, you can see a little bit of a gap, and I don't know if that's intentional, but I think they could have just tightened that up a little bit. Other than that, I do think that the con pod is done rather well with this release. So overall, stuff like that is good to see. And that is one of the main draw points of this figure. You obviously got to take a look at the head. But what else is going on this figure? Because, well, there is quite a bit going here. It looks like the base coat for this is going to be that awesome blue Gipsy Danger is known for, which is, you know, great. And then there is going to be a dry brushing of some browns and some gray, or at least silver anyway. Silver's kind of gray, to really give this bust a metallic look to it. Almost from far away, you'd think that maybe it was made of metal of some kind. It's not. It's resin. But when we take a look at some of the more intricate paint applications on this one, we are going to notice that some of the masking isn't 100% perfect, which, I mean, you're never going to have anything that's going to be perfect, so some spots it's forgivable. But in some other spots, specifically in the line on Gipsy Danger's back, sort of the collar there, that could definitely have been touched up a bit more. But when we take a look at some of the other smaller paint apps, like some of the Pan Pacific Defense Corps logos, we do have the lights on Gipsy's clavicle, I think it would be. Those actually do look really well painted, even though they're not actually lights. And then, of course, we have some of the smaller details, like some of the bolts and whatnot on Gipsy, which are surprisingly painted with almost pinpoint accuracy. So seeing some of those inconsistencies with some of the bigger paint apps, but not on the smaller, it's kind of a little bit of a head scratcher there. But what I really think brings this all home is the sculpted details. Whether it's going to be the vents hidden on Gipsy Danger, or it's going to be the little ladders that can be found on either side of Gipsy's head, right by those little, what do you want to call those, earmuffs? yeah, bad joke. Anyway, the sculpt, absolutely amazing here, and they're able to add in a whole bunch of small details, whether it's going to be weathering or battle damage here. Yep, overall, the bust really does look nice, but we haven't even talked about the pedestal yet. When it comes to the pedestal, it has obviously 4 sides to it because it's kind of like a square. On the front of it, we're going to have the Gipsy Danger logo, which, it says Gipsy Danger. I don't think we can ask for much more than that. Then on the left and right side, it's pretty straightforward in terms of overall design. It's just going to have the logo with a tube and some bolts there to make it look like it's holding everything together. And then on the back, we actually have what looks like a door for the Shatter Dome, the Pan Pacific Defense Corps logo, and a couple of other bolts on it. So all in all, in terms of detailing for the bust, it looks great, whether it's going to be the actual Gipsy portion or the pedestal for it, which it's pretty cool too. Gipsy Danger doesn't actually come with any accessories. Gipsy Danger does come with that little card that sort of verifies what number in the production line this bust is. Mine is number 66. Now, if you're looking to see where you can find that information on the bust, it's going to be underneath it, where you can see the legendary markings, copyright 2018, and all that fun stuff. So this way, if you do happen to buy one and you're looking to verify to see if this is authentic, I don't think this is going to get bootlegged, but you never know in the world of resins. You're going to be able to identify and validate whether or not the statue that you got is exactly the one that was advertised. So always make sure you have this card or the certificate of authenticity with any sort of resin that you buy. Now, how big is it? Well, I did make mention that it's about 14 inches earlier. So here is going to be one of the only times that I use a ruler, because this is the best way that I'm going to be able to convey how big this is. So my thumb is around the 13-inch mark, as you can see there. So definitely this resin is very tall. Now, the actual base of Gipsy Danger here, that little pedestal, is 6 inches on any one given side. So 6 inches on all 4 sides. So this way, if you're looking to go ahead and figure out where you're going to put it, there's an idea. Now, for a more conventional means for size comparison, here are just some straightforward side-by-side comparisons with some other figures you might have. Soul of Chogokin Gipsy Danger, Diamond Select Toys Gipsy Avenger, Mezco Kong, and NECA Godzilla 1962. I think it's a fair benchmark to say the bust is pretty tall. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. For $200, I do feel that for those who have not yet ventured into the resin territory, and I'm going to tell you right now, it is very, very complicated. This is a great way to get your foot in the door for kaiju fans to maybe explore some other things as well. However, in a vacuum, looking at this product on its own, I think Diamond did a rather rock solid job here. The sculpted details are great. Some of the finer details in regards to paint applications are pretty good, with the two drawbacks being that they could have tightened up some of the sculpting around the visor on the con pod, and some of the larger lines on Gipsy Danger for the paint application could have been masked a little nicer, so this way they could look straighter. Overall, though, I do think that this is a rather good purchase for about the $180 mark. If you can find it for a more affordable price, then hey, more power to you. Overall, though, I think the point here is to get a nice bust of one of America's only super robots up in your office, studio, man cave, wherever. And you know what? Diamond did a pretty solid job here. Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now you've heard a lot from me, I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for STR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand selected for you, so if you want to watch another STR video, I hand selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.